Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google our homepage, WW7ATS, that's WW7ATS. Frequencies we transmit on, and also a link that takes you to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for using WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. Again, this is Dave, KD7CYM. Hearing none, again, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. So far checked in by video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Jessica, KF7UHK, Lee, N7KC, N7CS Bert, Bob, K9PQ, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, James, WW7N, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else that would like to check into the net? Well, with that, we have pretty much a full house tonight. Let's start off with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma Land.
Thank you very much, Dave. This is KD7QKU Ron. I guess you guys hear me? Just wanted to make sure. Well, let's see. I guess the big news today is I went out to the Puyallup Ham Fair, swap meet, and looked around. I was going to wear a mask, and I bought my ticket and got inside the gate, reached in my pocket, and the jacket I had on didn't have a mask in it. So shoot, I wasn't going to turn around and go all the way back out to the truck, so I went in without my mask, and it was I'm not sure what Lee said, but anyway, let me let it drop. Fest without a mask, and I went up and down all the aisles on the bottom floor, and then I went up and down all the aisles on the top floor. I was kind of looking for a HF radio, really. I was looking for a Yaesu 857D, and I only saw one, and I saw a new one, an 891, and the guy had a price on it of $800, and you can buy them at HRO for $639. This guy picked it up and was looking at it, and I said, if you want one, get it from HRO. They're $629. He said, really? And I said, yeah. So I don't know what he did, but anyway. So I went back to the place that had the 857 and tried to Jew the guy down. And the guy behind the counter at the table said, well, I can't negotiate. I'll have to call the owner. So the owner came, and I cut his price by $200, and he wanted to up me $50, and I said, no way. I said, you want to take the radio? I reached in my pocket, pulled out some $100 bills, and I said, you want to take the radio home, or you want to sell it? looked at me and he said, I want to sell it. So I handed him my offer, and he handed me the radio, and I put it in my backpack and came home. So then, of course, you know, you never know what you buy. Is the thing going to work or is it not going to work? And I had never had one. I didn't even know where the on switch was. So I brought it home and I hooked it up, and then I called my friend Randy in Boise, and I said, hey, you know, he's got one similar, I think. And I said, where's the on switch? And so he said, oh, on the top of it there's 4 buttons, and it's the one on the right hand side. And so I said, okay. So I pushed the button, and lo and behold, it lit up. And then I got it on 10 meters, and it's supposed to have a really good receiver in it, and I think it does. I was able to hear both ends of lots of conversations, which I normally can't. So I dialed around, and I heard 2 guys talking, and they sounded pretty nice. I waited for them to stop, and then I called this guy. He was in Virginia, and he answered right back, but he said, you got to stand by. And so he was talking to somebody else, I guess. So he said, the guy at Tacoma, stand by for a few minutes. So I stood by, and then he came back, and we talked, and he said, man, you're putting in a beautiful signal. You're 5'9" here in Virginia. He said, what kind of an antenna are you using anyway? And I said, oh, just a little end-fed wire out in the backyard. And he said, well, it's doing an awful good job. He was 5'9", too. We had a really good connection. So we talked for a minute. He said it was cold. It was cold, he thought, back there and everything. And he said he liked Washington. We grow all these crops and have all these green trees and everything. So I thanked him and told him he should go. So they were having, you know, contests today on 10 meters, and it was terrible pileups. But anyway, I guess I know the radio works, so I was happy for that. So back to net, KD7QKU.
87QKU, Ron, thanks with that. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
Where it looks like it's 45 degrees and cloudy, KF7UHK. Good work, Ron. You never know when you're going to pick up something that's been handled by someone else, if it's going to be working or not. And there's so many things that can go wrong. Let's see what I do today. Sylvia's off at work today. She's working tomorrow too, so I've got 2 days of loneliness, but that's okay. I went up to the house up in Mount Vernon today and rearranged some things and hung a light up over a workbench we have in our garage, and just kind of organized. And so it was kind of a nice day to do that. I'm probably going to go up tomorrow too. There's a couple of friends are coming up to our Mount Vernon home. In 2 weeks, they're going to stay up at our property for the weekend because they have a bowling tournament up in Skagit Valley, and so we turned the place into a mini hotel, and so it'll be lots of fun. Get some pizza and probably show some movie or something on our big screen and see what happens. So that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm gonna cook a big steak along with some rice and some peas, some green peas. That's going to be our dinner tonight when Sylvia gets home at about 9 o'clock. So I'm passing back this KF7UHK.
UHK, thanks for that. Let's go to Marysville to Bert, N7CS.
Okay, well, good evening or good night, everyone. Let's see. Okay, I am transmitting. Ron, I wish I would have known you would have been there because I was also at the fair today. We could have done lunch or something. But I was just going to show off some of the gear that I got. So first thing is I got this for free. It's a circulator. I have absolutely no use for it because it's tuned for like 800 megahertz. But the guy said it was free. He wanted to give me 5 of these, but I said, well, I can do it just one. I don't need 5 things I can't use. So you know that I can't use it, but don't tell my wife that. Let's see. Next up, I got a Pector modem for $35. I haven't plugged it in yet to see if it's. It should do Pactor 2, but theoretically you can upgrade this to Pactor 3. So I'll have to check it later to see if it actually has a Pactor 3 upgrade on it or not, or if not, I can try to buy it potentially. But that was kind of cool. The other thing I got was this other packet modem. This is supposed to support 9600 BPS of the 9600 packet rate, so it's a TimeWave PK96. So it's old style with the serial interface instead of USB, but these are actually useful for me. Let's see. I got another piece of packet gear. Oh, let me let it drop for a second. So here's another thing I got. It's like, I think it's actually called a pack rat, which is, I mean, kind of coincidental since it's basically going to be packed like a rat somewhere. But I think this one only does 1200 baud. But it's got, I don't know, I think it supports 2 different radios or something. But, so I don't know, this should be something kind of fun to play with packet radio. And then the final thing was another something that does packet. This is like the PK900 from AEA. It does it does a couple different, what's to say, I think this supports maybe the original Pactor 1 or something like that, so it's super, super slow, but also 1200 baud packet radio. I don't want to take this one out of the box to show because it's like packed in there pretty tightly, but it has all the manuals and cables and all that stuff, so this is all like really, really old stuff, probably not too useful, but should be fun to play with. I'll have to see if I can find anybody still doing packet up in the area. I'm sure there's a few people probably still doing it. But anyway, that was my haul from the fair today. So this is Burton, Marysville, and 7CS back to net.
Yes, and time for an idea again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles. Try again for Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
The one that I think a lot of people know I can't think of it. That's terrible. Right when I was going to tell you, it slipped my mind. I'll have it for the next time around, but there are a few that I think are pretty well known. Actually, Ticket to Ride is one of them that you might know. That has become very popular. And there's another one you might know just because it's generally popular. I don't think any of you would have played it, but Ticket to Ride is actually being played by a lot of people that aren't gamer people. So that's one you might know. You might have played, actually. Okay, I'll send it back to you guys. This is K9PQ.
PQ, and we see Richard has shown up, K7ATS. Hopefully he'll take to the mic.
I don't know, can you guys hear me okay? It's been okay, you can. It's been a long time. I really miss everybody, and I've been able to hear a little bit, off and on over the past, God, I don't know, seems like about 2 months now. So anyway, yeah, Bert, congratulations on all that stuff. Geez, that's you're a true ham-fest aficionado now. I mean, I was at the other end a couple of years ago selling. I had a buddy that just, I don't know, he passed away, but when he passed away, we didn't realize what a pack rat he was. He had just, and I think you guys might remember some of the, even Leebots and stuff. I mean, it was just everything in the world he had. Oh my God. So anyway, yeah, it's really great to see you. I'll tell you about my trip last week to Phoenix when the next time around. This is K7ATS, back to net control.
ITX, Richard, thanks for joining the net this evening. We've missed you and welcome you here again. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Dick, sure is good to see you. Glad you're with us. I know you've been trying to listen to us from time to time. Ron, good luck with that radio. It's always fun trying to figure out what buttons to push and what buttons not to push. It'll take a while. I'm still not sure which all buttons I should touch and not touch on this radio, but oh well. Jessica, you're lonely? Where are your kitty cats? There should be 2 critters keeping you company there. Maybe at least keeping your feet warm, I would think. I mean, I'm just saying, you put one of those Temptations in your lap or something and see if you get any action out of the cats. That's what I'd do. Bert, man, wow, it looks like you got a haul. Don't know what all you're going to do with it. I have a PK88 somewhere around here. I don't remember where it is. If anyone knows if it's good for anything, let me know. And also, I probably still have my 300 baud modem for my Commodore 64 somewhere around here. I don't know. I still haven't figured out what I could do with that stuff. Lee, we heard you fine through whatever link you used for your audio. I guess it sounds like you're hearing us better now, or okay. Anyway, good to see you there. Sorry for the echo link problems, but it's called amateur radio for a reason, I guess. We're all just kind of keeping our fingers crossed on a proverbial wing and a prayer. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
7QO, time to get an ID out here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go to Bellevue to James, WW7N.
Lee, this
this is WW7N in Northeast Bellevue. I readjusted my audio so it doesn't cancel everything out in the room, so apparently that works. We can hear us. I guess that's an improvement. Ron, you really made me laugh there. There's this thing that HRO has. It's called if it's busted, you take it back to them. I find that's funny. That I'm glad you got a good deal, and I'm glad it works. And I hope the guy feels he got a good deal. I don't know how you would make any HF older radio, how you would even ask that much. I guess it's kind of like that old, there was a commercial for a while. It's the Jack in the Box guys at a trade show, and there's one young man, he's just sitting in a chair all by himself in one of those little taped off trade show areas. And the Jack in the Box guy asked me, he says, "What do you do?" And he goes, "Well, I'm a taste tester for restaurants. Yeah, I try their food and then I give them a report." And he goes, "How much do you charge for that?" And he goes, $10,000. And the Jack in the Box goes, "That's amazing. Do you have any takers?" And he goes, "It would only take one." I guess maybe that's the attitude when people put price tags on stuff at these swap fests. Let's say, Jessica, yes. I'm glad you got stuff done. Sorry you were feeling lonely. And Bert, you get the prize. I think that one in the box. You think you got a collector item there? If that's like a pack rat version 1 with all the manuals and cables and everything in the box, I think you really got something there. I've got a beat up one out in the garage from the 90s, and like an EEPROM chip that was supposed to be an upgrade that belonged to my dad. But I've never even tested it to see if it can still even work as a basic TNC or anything. But yeah, RS-232C. Wow, that brings back memories. I spent a lot of time troubleshooting that stuff in the 90s for a living. But I guess it's still in use. It's still out there. $1 Pactor modem. Okay, you gotta get back to us and tell us if it even works on Pactor 2 or if it's already upgraded, because that too sounds like an incredible bargain. Of course, if you want to pay 4 figures, you get one with a guarantee on it. I'm sure Hammer UL could fix you up with that one too. So anyway, I do have a video for next time. I'd like to take it for next time because with all the load on this computer, this particular one, I'm not sure if it won't lock my machine up and I'll be 15 minutes back rebooting. But it's about, there is a new camera out, and it works in a different way, and I think you guys might really be interested. It's very video-oriented. So next time around, if we still have time, I'll try and show that video. This is James. Let's see, our net control tonight is Dave, KD7ZYM, and I am WU7 in Northeast Bellevue. Take it away, Dave.
U7N, let's see, I think I missed Jim, N7QO.
You got me. I hope someone heard me. It looks like people were reacting to me, but it's okay, Dave. Back to you.
And this is Dave, KD7ZYM. I got 44 degrees and cloudy here in Lake City. It's kind of interesting hearing what happened at the Ham Fest with Ron getting a radio that actually works, and that was pretty good bang for the buck. And Bert, oh my gosh, I think he cleaned out a lot of 1980s type devices for connecting your radio to modems. So that was kind of interesting. And let's see. Outside of that, gaming, that sounds like a lot of fun to get into. And I think Bob's going to enjoy that coming up. And we wanted to welcome Richard back. That's pretty good. And Jessica, she's a host. She's going to have her own bed and breakfast going up north, I guess. So anyway, a host that doesn't charge. I like that. That's a pretty good deal. So that's about all I've got to say. And this is Dave, KD7ZYM. Now that's about all I've got. I was home today, ended up doing some domestic chores. That's no fun, but I had to get them out of the way. And looking forward to tomorrow, and got to remember to set the clock ahead tonight, as daylight saving time starts off tomorrow. That's about it. This is Dave, KD7CYM. So let's go to Ron, KD7QKU.
Ron, KD7QKU. Lee, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. So this is for all the old ATVers. So I only saw one person today that I knew, and lo and behold, it was Chuck Zappala. I couldn't believe my eyes. So we came face to face, and I and Chuck always got along really well. And I said, "Oh my God, hi Chuck." I said, "I haven't heard from you for a long time. We lost contact." And he said, "Yeah, we lost contact with everybody." But he didn't want to talk to me. He was backing away from me, and he looked not good. He didn't look well. He was pale and kind of ashy colored. I think I know he's been sick, but it was nice to see him. I sure wish he would have talked to me for a while, but I would have told him for one thing that I moved to Tacoma. He didn't know that. I'm sure he doesn't know that. But anyway, like I say, I always liked Chuck. I got along with him, I thought, quite well. But anyway, I wish him well. So let's see. Been an eventful week, really. The car wouldn't start again. Our 2019 Jeep Cherokee. It did it once before. I taken you into the doctor, and I went to start it, and the screen and computer and everything just goes black, and it wouldn't nothing. So a couple of months ago, it went click click, and I had a new battery put in it, and so I forget when it was, Wednesday or something. I went out to move it out of the garage. I was going to work on the steps in the garage, and the car wouldn't do anything. So I called AAA, and I had them come and tow it to the dealer. The AAA said I had to make sure the dealer would accept it before they would tow it there. So I had to call the dealer, and they said they would. But of course, I didn't have an appointment. They said it'd be a day or two before they could look at it. So they told me on Friday they were just getting to it. Friday night, she called me at 4. Said she was going home, but the technician had just brought it in. They were starting to troubleshoot it. So I probably will find out next week. So I don't know what's wrong with it. I hope they can fix it. I don't like that. So let's see. Really good to see Richard. Nice to see you, Richard. Glad you're back with us. And Jessica's going to have steak. Oh my golly, that sounds wonderful. And Bob's going gaming. And I think Wade was on at the Ham Fest. I didn't. He offered me a ride, but he went out Friday night to help, haul the pallet full of the stuff in it for the guys with the pallet jack. And then he was going out really early Saturday morning. He said if I wanted to go, I could, but I didn't want to go real early. So I didn't. I got there, I don't know, sometime after 10, I would say. Left here. Takes quite a while to drive even from here out there. All right, that's enough for now. Back to that, KD7QKU.
QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
UHK, yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Richard. Good to see you, Richard. And you look normal with your normal background back there. It's kind of like when you run into someone from work and they're not, and their background's different. Like you see him with Fred Myers, and you kind of go, "I know you from somewhere. You look very familiar." And they'll look at you and say, "Jessica, I'm your dispatcher," or something like that. And I always say, "Oh, it's because the background is not the same as where I normally see you." I've seen people from when I worked at Boeing. Forever I worked for them or worked with them. And I'd run into them somewhere like Fred Myers or Safeway or something like that. Just had no idea who they were, even though, I knew them, but I just couldn't figure out who they were. Phipps Hotel, yep. We've done this before. It's always a lot of fun. We'll camp out up in our little bedroom upstairs, and we'll give them the master bedroom downstairs, and fix it up nicely, and it'll be a fun time. I don't do any bowling. Sylvia really doesn't do any bowling, so it's kind of their thing. We might go watch them for a little bit or go eat some food while we're there, and we'll also have pizzas and stuff like that at our house. It's always a fun time. let's see, let me talk about my cats. My cats, let me tell you about the cats. The cats come around when they can see the bottom of their food bowl. That's when they come around. Otherwise, they stay with each other. They're really companionship to each other. But when it comes to us, no, it's only when they want to come and tell us that the food bowl's empty, and then they're friendly for that short time. Let me break real quick. Daylight saving time tonight, so I gotta make sure and switch over my clocks that aren't gonna switch over automatically. Most of them will, because they're like things on the computer, and that will take care of my Google at Home, which we talk to and ask what time it is and what the weather is outside. And we love our Google at Home. It sits in our bedroom, and you know, I can sit there with my eyes closed and ask it things and talk to it. And, you know, it's really quite fascinating. Even when you ask it things about things you know, it's fun to see what it has to say about it. So that's always good. It's like a Google I don't have to read. So with that, I'm gonna pass it back to KF7HK.
7UHK, thanks for that. And for idea again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. I'll pause in case there's anybody that would like to join the net. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Hearing none, it's off to Port Angeles to Lee in 7KC.
When Ron first told about running into Chuck out at Puyallup, I had to jack the gain up quite a bit on the system to hear that, but I can hear it pretty well. And Dave, I don't hear very well at all. And Jessica, that time, not too good. It's just an awful lot of funny stuff going on tonight. Let me say that Bert, I would say that the dual circulator is probably in my notion, is the best thing you picked up today. It may have some real use in the future. Yeah. So sometimes people were forced into have to put two circulators in a line, so they manufactured one that just had two in the package and 2 dummy loads on it, that type of thing. The first load much bigger than the second. So that's pretty nice, and they don't go bad. They're full of heavy magnets in there, but they'll probably not go bad. Some of the older gear, I don't know if it still would work properly. Oh golly, what else? Not much. Richard, it's delighted to see you on. That's wonderful. Good for you. And I can't think of anything else to say, so I'm going to turn it back to Dave. KD7CYM and 7KC. Go ahead, Dave.
WU7ATS.
You had a comment?
Third-party communication via W7N for N7KC.
With that, well, let's go on to Bert, N7CS. It has the top-rated new technology for packet.
Okay, oh yeah, I forgot to mention before, it is good to see Richard again. Nice to see you. I think you were out even longer than I was out. I was out for about a month in the Caribbean and everything, or actually before that even in South Africa. But let's see what else we got going. Oh yeah, Dave was talking about how he was cleaning out all the 1980s gear from the swap meet. Not quite. I mean, I did see some Laserdisc players and Commodore Amiga computers, and it took everything to prevent me from doing that. Actually, I just didn't want to carry it out to the car because it was so heavy. So that was the reason why I didn't pick up that stuff. But it would have been a really good deal. But And yeah, I didn't know Wade was there either. I didn't run into him. I did run into Wade last year at the fair, but I didn't see him there either. Now, I did see someone that looked like Lee's doppelganger, and I thought it was Lee. And I went up to him, I said, Lee, and he said, nope, it's Lloyd. So I did not, I saw his doppelganger, but I didn't see any ATV gear this year. Last year, I think I saw at least 2 people that were selling PC electronic stuff, but this year, not a single thing. And let's see what else is going on here. The big news was there was a bank failure that happened yesterday. Silicon Valley Bank. Silvergate, I think, before them. So now Silvergate was very crypto heavy. Silicon Valley Bank, they initially were into crypto, but they got out of it a long time ago. Because I know back a few years ago, I was looking at maybe starting up like a crypto business, and I actually contacted Silicon Valley Bank, and they said, no, we don't do it anymore. And so I kind of halted my business plans because they were the only bank that was even like that would talk to small companies about it. But anyway, that's probably it for now. This is Bert and Marysville, and MCS back to Nut.
MCS, let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Hey, well, first of all, Richard, it is great to see you back, and you're looking good. Happy to have you back with us. Ham radio and RS-232. Believe it or not, my Elecraft, which isn't that old, it still had RS-232, and this was long after USB was standard, but they actually claimed that RS-232 was better for some things in the ham radio world. Maybe it was better electrically. I'm not sure exactly. I see James nodding. It sounds like he's aware of that. But anyway, that was their claim, and but what it reminded me of was this would have been about like 93, 94, something like that. I was in Chicago and with some hams there, and I remember that the computer of choice for working with ham radio equipment, that were all the ham radio programs you found were for the Commodore 64, and this is in '94 when Windows was very mature. It had been out a long time. That does not to me to say that it worked well, but it probably worked as well as the Commodore. But the Commodore 64 was cheaper, and we all know about hams and cheapness, and so I think that's possibly the reason why the Commodore 64 was there. And the game, I had to look it up because I had completely forgotten. Settlers of Catan, you might have heard of. Settlers of Catan is a very, very popular of the new style games, the most popular of the new style games. Okay, I'll send it back to K9PQ.
PQ, let's go to Richard again, K7ITX.
I was going to mention what it was like in Phoenix the beginning of last week, but I had to respond to James, I think, was talking about the guy, the Jack-in-the-Box guy who wanted to sell something for $10,000, and he said, well, it only takes one. Well, you know, there's a lot of truth to that, and my story with respect to that is I've never been able to sell to one client, never been able to get a Microsoft project, and when I was told, well, you're going to work on another one, and I go, well, you got to be kidding. So I said, okay, if you're going to make me work on another Microsoft project, okay, I'll make it the, best estimate of my life. Well, it did. It only took one. That one job that I got, that one Microsoft job, believe it or not, and I'm not kidding you, that turned into a seven-figure monthly billing for 2.5 years. And that's pretty much how I ended my career. I mean, it was just fantastic. No one, in fact, I think people try to avoid you when you're in the middle of something like that because they don't want to be accused of, screwing up the deal or whatever. And then the boss, he just stays back and just lets the money. Well, Yeah, he got to enjoy it. I didn't as much as he did, that's for sure. But yeah, it's an accomplishment. So anyway, the weather really, this whole weather situation. When we left for Phoenix, it was snowing and and then it didn't even really appear to be that much better when we got to Phoenix. It was at night, but it was, I don't know. I guess it was sunny, but it was cool and it wasn't very warm. But luckily, though, towards the afternoon when we were there on Tuesday last week, the sun did come out just long enough in the afternoon, and where we were staying, they had a real nice roof garden and pool, about, 12 stories up in the air, and so we got a really nice 2 or 3 hours of blast of really warm sunshine, and so that was really a good thing, and kind of made that part of it worthwhile. We were right on the campus of Arizona State University, right across the street from the I guess they call it Sun Devil Stadium, where they play football. And a good view of our room window. We were up pretty high, and it was just fun to watch. Brought back old memories, watching all the kids on skateboards and everyone has a backpack, of course, and it's really, in the morning they're all going one way, and then in the afternoon they're all going the other way. It's pretty cool. So anyway, and it was just a successful trip. What happened in Phoenix for me, it was just unbelievable, and it's exactly what the doctor ordered. K7ITX, back to net control.
ITX, thanks for that, Richard. And again, welcome back. It's nice to see you on the air. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, good, Dick. Sounds like that worked out well. I'm happy for you. And we should all keep up our prayers for you, too. Well, I didn't make it to the Hamfest. I had a friend ask if I'd like to go with him. For a number of years, we went down there. Actually, there were 3 or 4 of us, depending upon which year it was, and we would all get together, but didn't make it down there I haven't made it down there for several years. I was planning to go this year kind of tentatively, but it didn't work out for me. Let's see. Dave, you were commenting on the weather there. I've got 41 degrees here at the house now, and it's perfectly clear where I am, so I wonder if it's going to get colder tonight or if we're going to get some clouds moving in. We'll see when I get up, I guess. Ron, saw Chuck Z. Oh yeah, Lee was asking if Dixie was with him. And Ron, looks like Ron says no. Man, your car would not start again. That's a real bummer. Hope they figure out what the problem is and get it taken care of quickly. I don't know. It sounds like that's not one of the things you could plug in an analyzer and it magically says replace this particular device. Might have to replace a whole circuit board or something. Sounds a little odd, but good luck with that. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
QO, let's go to James, WW7N.
Hey, well, we're pushing pushing the CPU limit. The fan is on full blast. Let's see if I can share something here, and because I think you guys might be interested in this. Stand by. Here, or what you soon hopefully will be looking at here, is, okay, let me ask a pause for a minute. Dave, can you see that guitar string?
It's moving up and down.
Okay, thank you. All right, that's the optical illusion. Now what you're looking at is if you have a sensory element that is, instead of scanning left to right, top to bottom across the sensor, it is each individual sensor has its own sensory analog element behind it, each pixel of the sensor. And so this is called rolling shutter camera, is what the industry term is using, which is funny because that means a completely different thing to me from the days of wet film. But what is interesting about this is that you can now, very soon, I think, you'll be able to buy one of these for about $50 that a Raspberry Pi will be able to interpret and use. Other examples, you've all seen this stuff, like rotating propellers or rotating blades. You know, if you take that with your phone, how it kind of looks like the blade is not rotating, it's just kind of turning slowly as if it's, but you know, because the airplane's in the air, it has to be, you know, turning very rapidly. And that's part of this effect of this left to right, top down optical effect of most of the imagery sensors in use today. And we all just accept it, and it's no big deal. This camera won't do that. This camera, you'll actually see the blurriness of the propeller as the propeller's rotating. So I thought that would be interesting to you guys. But I do have another technology comment. An economist I track, and we did exchange some information. He asked the AI bot that Bert introduced us to a few weeks back some hot button question, which he knew I know a lot about. Well, the AI is scouring the bowels of the internet, and it's going to the guy who has a website who's off his medication, it's going to experts in the field, it's going to everybody, and then it amalgamates that into an answer. And the answer it came up with was hilarious. It was absolute classic garbage in, garbage out. And I read an article today, well, that'll soon be filtered by whoever is paying for that AI to give their perspective on things. So the whole AI thing, I think, is a bit overblown. It's just repackaging of either something that's going to be absolutely goofy or propaganda. I'm not sure which. But since I enjoy the study of propaganda, it'll be interesting to see how it develops. It actually took several tries before you got the big contract. I mean, I'll ask the trivia question: which Star Trek character in the middle of one of the shows says, in the 20th century comment, "Where's the greed?" Oh God, I'm sure Bob will get that one. But anyway, this is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Let's turn it back to our net control, KD7ZY.
W7N, thanks for that. And I do have to get an ID here again, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's see. For me, I got off to Costco this week, and I tried their chili that they have prepared, and I will report it is very good chili, and it's about 25% beef, maybe even 30% beef. I was very, very impressed. I've never had chili with that much meat in it, and I got about 4 meals out of the package. It was pretty good. Well, also, while I was at Costco, my car was saying the tires are getting a little bit low on air pressure, and my Leaf has nitrogen air in it. And at Costco, you get free nitrogen air top-offs. So I drove up to the open garage doors and said, fill me up. And they went around to each one of the tires and pressured them up. And the interesting thing is each tire, when it, once they put the pressure meter on it, to flow air into it, my emergency light blinked inside the car while that was going on, and then once it topped off, the emergency lights went off on the dash. So that was kind of interesting. It did that for each one of the 4 tires. And then once that was all done, I no longer was getting a low tire pressure indication on any of my tires. But the cold weather, it's been about 3 years or 4 years since I topped off my nitrogen air in my tires. So the cold weather spell I think we had this last month probably made that happen. So this is Dave, KD7CYM. So let's go up to 10 meter rod, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU here. Well, when Dave mentioned it was, I think he said 40 something at his house, I looked at my thermometer, it was 39. So I think it's dropping rapidly outside tonight. So, I've been working on one other project, I think it was Wednesday. So when you're in our garage and you go in the door into the house, you step up 1 step, and the step is about a 10-inch step. It's too tall. It's very uncomfortable. So you step up to that step, and then you usually put both feet on that, and then you step up into the house. And so when Joanne wasn't feeling too well, that was pretty difficult. So I decided to remedy that. So I built a step that's about 6 or 6.5 inches high and put it on the floor, and then I raised the other step up till it's about 6 or 6.5 inches to step into the house. So now we have 2 steps, and they're very comfortable. But I just bought a handrail, and I'll show it to you. Hold it to the wall on the doorknob side. That when you get up to the doorknob's on the right-hand side. So I'm going to attach this leg bolt to the wall if I can find the studs in there, and then we'll have a little handrail to help us get up and down the steps. So I think that should work fine. So I was kind of proud of myself. I wasn't sure what I was going to find. I thought I was going to, they have them in bathrooms and bathtubs and on the walls and stuff. I thought I was going to have to use one of those, but no, they had others. So this one's good. So that should make it nice for us to get in the house. It was kind of interesting. The lady next door, her husband's an older man. He's 84. I found out, and he's a large man, and he goes in for dialysis every day. They have this big ramp up the front of their house, and the lady has to bring him down. They have a van, a wheelchair van. She loads him up. But when it's frosty, the ramp is really slick, and they have tar paper on it, like roofing tar paper, so it's got granular surface. And so anyway, she's having an elevator put in at the front door. And the guy that's working on it, his name is Brian. Very nice guy. So he heard me out there running the chop saw when I was cutting up the 2x4s and 2x6s. He stuck his head over the fence and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "You heard the chop saw?" And he said, "Yeah." And I told him what I was doing. I thought that was interesting. He knew the sound. And he came over to see what was going on. All right, I think we're out of time, so back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
I had a friend who thought everything should be done with it's not a chop saw. It's the kind that goes in and out, and it's really good for like destroying things. If you need to, if you need to destroy something, this thing will take out anything. Yeah, I need to take out a wall. I can't think of the name of it all of a sudden, but it kind of goes in and out. It's a reciprocating saw. Deep Space Nine. I had to look it up, but it's amazing what Google will tell you when you put in things like that. Catan. Yeah, we play Catan. I think I usually lose to Sylvia. Sylvia's cunning at games. She really analyzes things. me, I take blind shots at things, and I usually lose. You know, I'm terrible at chess. I can only think one move ahead, two moves max. She'll sit there and figure out the whole game in front of me, and you know, that's no fun. I don't like losing that way. On the other hand, once I beat her at Risk, very, very handily, because I had to take out someone else. I think I had to take her out, so I'd get all her cards and all her points and all her pieces, so I could take someone else out. And she's never let me down for that, because I took her out in my quest to win the game, and it worked out really nicely. I could have done it otherwise. It's when you're down to the last, you know, one piece on everything, and you own a lot of it, you know, then you start doing the Pac-Man type thing, and just take out piece after piece after piece. Let's see, and the last thing is, I used to run a BBS, Joe's Meat Market, MEET, back before we had the internet as it is today, when it was always on. Before we had that, you could call up my computer and play games on it and leave messages for people and leave messages in little public areas, and you could download files that people uploaded. But I think the biggest hard drive I had was maybe a 60 megabyte or something like that. Was probably my biggest hard drive. I can't imagine having something that small these days. And if Bert needs more stuff, I probably have boxes of junk you could use or not use. This is KF7UHK.
UHK, thanks for that, Jessica. Well, I guess I kind of, when it's called a pack rat 232, I think that says what it's all about. Us hams are pack rats, so we do accumulate a lot of stuff. So let's go to Lee, N7KC.
It's nice weather. No, actually, what I wanted to talk about was the rolling shutter effect. That's really a Shannon sample theorem. And you're undersampling the data and you're producing an alias that pulls back on the data. And the way you solve that is you need to sample twice as fast as the frame rate, at least. If you're doing electronic data collection, you low pass filter, okay, and then you sample above that so that you don't get any high frequencies above the sample rate. And that way you knock that stuff down. So if you're 24 frames a second, you just have to go 50th of a second, and then, you know, as the frame rate gets faster, you just simply have to, you know, run a faster shutter speed. Let's see, the psi phenomenon. You know, that's what they used to call that in psychology, the PSI, the psi phenomenon, where the railroad wheels go backwards, or the wagon wheels go backwards with the spokes. Common problem. Anyway, I don't have anything else, and I don't want to take us out. So 73, tickled to see you, Richard. Thank you. And good to see you all, and we'll see you down the bike in 7KC and Port Angeles. Good night.
And 7KC, this is WW7N.
Next is Bert, N7CS in Marysville.
Okay, well, I see we're almost out of time here, so I'll just do a quick round. Let's see. Oh, the wife and I, we finally saw that movie called Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and it is crazy and wild. I don't know how else to explain it. It was just the most bizarre thing I ever saw. But yeah, it's getting a lot of like discussions about Oscars and stuff. But yeah, the James, the global short camera stuff sounds pretty cool. I'll have to look into that. And Jessica, if she's still listening, I used to run a BBS too a long time ago. BBS when I was in Houston. And then like collecting junk. Yeah, there were lots of people at the fair selling like mystery boxes this time. I don't remember that before. It's like $15 for whatever's in this box. It says there might be radios, blah blah blah. And there were other places where you could like buy an entire crate of like $5 of stuff. I mean, a giant crate. And it said whatever you can stuff into it. And it's like, yeah, it's probably a good deal, but I don't have anywhere to put it. But anyway, 73 ohm, this is Bird Marysville, N7CS, back to that.
CSN, it's time to pull the plug on the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the WW7STR's repeater 147.08 for the use of our vocal communications for our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. So this is Dave, KD7CYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all. This is KD7CYM clear.
WW7 UWQ monitoring mobile in Linwood.